Tonight on The Local Live, should there be a Westchester gun show in the wake of the Las Vegas mass shooting? Is Hometown Media closing? We've got the details. The Larchmont Girl Scout House creates a handicap ramp for one of their own. We take you into the Westchester Tattoo Convention. We'll discuss live in studio with Counselor Lisa Schuman on how to talk to your children about the tragedy in Las Vegas. This and more coming up. It's Thursday, October 5th. I'm Maral Kethwari. Welcome to The Local Live. After the Sunday mass shooting in Las Vegas, the debate on gun control has sparked again. In Westchester County, the question is, should there be a gun show in the county center? While County Executive Rob Astorino has expressed his condolences to the family of the victims in Vegas, others, like Senator George Latimer and County Legislator Catherine Parker, have voiced their concerns.
After 59 people were killed and 525 injured in Sunday's Las Vegas massacre, the deadliest shooting in U.S. history, the debate on gun control is heating up nationally and locally. On Tuesday, New York State Senator and Democratic nominee for Westchester County Executive George Latimer joined forces with gun control advocates to push for legislation banning gun shows from county properties. Proposed legislation vetoed by County Executive Rob Astorino in January this year.
There's no justification to ban a gun show based on the facts and based on the law.
Is it legal to own a gun in America? Yes, it is. I believe that the Second Amendment allows you to own a weapon. But it certainly does not mean that every possible armament under the sun should be in private hands.
Latimer criticized Astorino for promising to repeal the New York SAFE Act during his 2014 run for governor. Governor Andrew Cuomo signed the SAFE Act into law after the Sandy Hook shooting. It's the toughest gun safety legislation in New York.
Not only does this gun show need to leave, we need to stand behind the act that was passed in New York State a few years ago called the SAFE Act. That SAFE Act prohibits, going forward from the point of its adoption, weaponry to be bought and held in private hands along the lines of what Stephen Paddock used in Las Vegas the other night.
County legislator Catherine Parker agrees and wants the Westchester legislators to override Astorino's veto on gun shows at the county center.
I am here today because yesterday I sent a formal request to the chairman of the Board of Legislators asking him to hold a vote to override the county executive's veto on our ban of gun shows at the Westchester County Center, at our municipal buildings.
Members of Moms Demand Action joined Latimer and Parker outside the county center. One of them was Larchmont resident Amy Gross.
It's not about gun control, it's about common sense gun legislation so that we can reduce violence across America.
An upcoming gun show is being advertised online for January 20th and 21st next year. Whether or not it actually happens will be up to the legislators and the county executive, and most importantly, the voters on November 7th. For The Local Live, I'm Michael Witch.
A spokesperson from Rob Astorino released a statement to News 12 attacking George Latimer as an opportunist, using a horrific tragedy for political gain. Hometown Media Group has filed for bankruptcy, and for the future of their weeklies, including the Mamaroneck Review, is uncertain. We spoke to editor-in-chief of Hometown Media, Chris Falcone. He said, quote, "We are aware that the news of the company's bankruptcy filing has spread fast. The filing came as a result of an ongoing dispute with our current property manager. Therefore, we are optimistic that this will not only spell the end of Hometown Media and the Mamaroneck Review, and after a short production freeze, we will be back operating business as usual rather quickly." Daisy and Junior Girl Scouts of Larchmont, Troop 2997, unveiled their new handicap ramp on Sunday. The ramp was named for Olivia Vanderwood, a 7-year-old scout who uses a wheelchair. Reporter Aurora Folks has the inspiring story.
Hello, this is Aurora Folks, and today we're here at the Larchmont Girl Scout home celebrating Olivia's Way with her grand opening of her new handicap ramp. Troop leaders Daisy and Junior Scouts all gathered here for the grand reveal of a handicap ramp. one that would elevate and lift the spirits of a very special little girl.
I am so excited for this day and so excited that you're all here.
While this day served as an exciting one for Patricia and those who helped fund the year-long project, Polly and Dan Vanderwood couldn't be happier for their daughter Olivia.
It just is amazing to me what she's been able to, accomplish in her 7 years of life. While Olivia cannot speak, I'm confident she would want me to say how much it means to her to be included. She's looking forward to many adventures with the Girl Scouts.
No longer subject to the exclusion of outdoor events, Olivia can now take part in every cookie bake and craft event in the Girl Scout house, much to her fellow Daisy members' joy.
I feel great because when she didn't come in the Girl Scouts house, we had to go somewhere else, and now we have a ramp. We all can come in the Girl Scouts house and be in a group.
With the festivities continuing inside, veteran Girl Scouts and troop leaders alike were able to reflect on the fundraiser's success and the strides the organization has taken since March of 1912.
The Girl Scouts were there to support all needs of girls, and what's more important than being friends?
This has been a beautiful event here at the Larchmont Girl Scout House. We look forward to seeing more of what they can do, and this has been Aurora Folks reporting for the Local Live.
Looking for some October fun? The Local Live has you covered. On Sunday, October 8th, Rosie Novellino Mearns will be reading from her book, Saving Radio City Music Hall, A Dancer's True Story at Larchmont Public Library. The event will take place in the Village Center from 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. For more events, check out your local public libraries. Next up, we speak with Counselor Lisa Schumann, who has advice on how to talk to your children about the tragic events like those in Las Vegas.
Good evening, I'm Maura Carlin. Most of us woke up Monday morning to the news of the horrific mass shooting at a concert in Las Vegas. It left 59 dead and more than 500 injured. Now, it's been headline news all week. But we have kids in the house. Do we dare turn on the TV or the radio? What if the kids see the newspaper headlines? In other words, do we tell the kids, and what do we say? I'm joined by Lisa Schumann, a licensed therapist and founding director of the Center for Family Building. So Lisa, that's the question. What do you say?
Well, thanks for having me here, Maura. I really appreciate it. It's such an important topic. So I'm so glad that you're covering it tonight. I think it's really important, first of all, just to say that everybody knows their own children best, right? We all know if our kids are mature or immature. We see a lot of parents in our program, and I see parents who have kids who are very precocious and other kids who are shy. And so, you have to know your own child. So that's first of all, just to start. Secondly, I think that it's important to know that whatever you say, it's going to be heard by your child, right?
Even if you're not saying it to them.
Even if you're not saying it, right? If you're anxious, if you're worried, if you're not directly telling them, and of course they're going to be listening to the TV on in the background and all of that. So they're going to hear more than you think. So you need to be careful about how you communicate to your child. Secondly, it's also important to understand where they are developmentally, right? You're not going to say the same thing to a 2-year-old as you would say to a 5-year-old. And then last, I think it's also important to understand that children need to feel heard, and they need to feel considered, and they need to share their feelings. So it's important not to avoid these conversations. It's very hard for parents to talk about these things, but it's important not to avoid the conversations. You can speak to them in developmentally appropriate ways, understand where they are personally, and let them share what they need to share and ask the questions they need to. We don't need to jump in and give them too much information. We could just answer their questions.
So one of the age-old parenting tricks I was always taught was, if you're going to start those conversations, to start with, so what have you heard, or what do you know? Is that the right approach in this situation?
Yeah, I think it's good to find out, and most of all, and I think need to underscore, which a lot of parents know already, that kids need to feel safe, right? So they're always worried that it's going to happen to them, it's going to happen to their house, it's going to happen to their families. So I think that has to happen first. So the parent needs to communicate that first, that they're safe, they live in a safe home, they're going to be taken care of, and everything's okay. And then the questions can be, what would you like to know?
Okay. Are there things that you shouldn't tell a child? And we can break it down by age, somebody between 5 and 10.
Right. So for small children, you don't need to be so graphic. You can tell them, yes, in concrete ways, that there are things that happen in the world that are really hurtful and sad, and things that happen that are good, right? I mean, little kids think about things in very black and white terms. A little bit older kids can understand a little bit more of the gray areas. And then, of course, older kids can learn much more complex ideas.
We have a question that was
Okay.
emailed. How do I explain this to my 17-year-old who is on their way to college?
Again, you know, I need to just say it's important for them to know that it depends on their child, right? Some 17-year-olds are very mature and some are immature. So the parent knows how the child is going to receive this information. They need to know that they feel safe. And then you need to demonstrate it. If they're going away to college or going away to camp for the first time, it's really helpful for them to know that there's a point person that can be there. There might be a counselor, an RA in their dorm, somebody who can be there for them if they feel anxious or scared, a teacher. And of course, they, you know, with cell phones now, we can get in touch with our kids at any time. So of course, they could always call us. But they need to feel safe.
But let's take it to somebody who's 17, is probably reading the news themselves, and they know how many people were killed. They know how much ammunition there was. They, you know, they are well versed in it, in the news of the day. What, as a parent, do you say to them about the event? Do you talk about, I don't know, evil in the world, or we don't know what causes this, or what?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, if we think about, so we're thinking developmentally, right? So if a kid's going to college for the first time, he's already separating from his parents. And so even if they're more mature, there's anxiety there typically. No matter how much a child wants to go to college, there's anxiety to separate from a parent at first. So you've got an undercurrent of anxiety there to start with. So again, you want to emphasize the safety and all of that, but also to engage them and ask them. Again, we don't want to avoid conversations. What do they want to know? What's important for them to know? How are they feeling? They may just be worried that there's problems with gun control, and what's going to happen with that, and how are they going to manage? Maybe they're going to college in a state that is more gun friendly. So we really have to discuss it on a case-by-case basis, depending on where the child is developmentally and what they know.
Okay. Let's go younger, to the younger children for a moment. I mean, I'm assuming there's not much you have to say to someone under 2, to a child under 2.
Right.
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 I go back to, so we're talking, let's say, a 3 to 7-year-old. And what I'll just throw out from a personal example is 9/11. I had a 4 or 5-year-old, and I had one of his friends with me. And I just kept them outside and away from it, in part because I had someone else's kid and it wasn't my job. But I really, at that point, was so struck and dumbfounded myself, I'm not sure I could have spoken about it. What do you do as a parent? Do you tell your kid, I don't know what to say?
Well, you know, if the child comes to you and they've heard it already, again, right away they need to feel safe, right? So first of all, you have to let them know that they're safe and everything's going to be okay in their world. And then explain to them that really, you know, sometimes terrible things happen in this world. It's not going to happen to them. They're in this house, and the house is a safe house, and their parents are taking care of them. But sometimes bad things happen in the world, and it's really sad. And then to ask them how they're feeling about it. Are they afraid of anything? Is there something that they want to talk about? And then again, relate to them in developmentally appropriate ways. If you know your kid is an anxious kid, if you know your kid is an inquisitive child, it really depends upon, again, who your child is.
And do you come back to it again a day, a week, a month later, or do you let it rest until they raise it again?
I would let them raise it again, because sometimes questions are couched in ways that we don't anticipate. I have seen many, many times children ask questions about things that may happen in the news, or things that happen with their friends, or things that happen in other areas. And what they're really trying to get to is something else. Maybe they're feeling anxious about something else, and this is like on the laundry list of things that they're afraid of. Or maybe they're genuinely afraid of this and they need to talk about it. So you can say to them, you know, I'm wondering if you had any other thoughts about our conversation last night. And if they say no, then you let it lie. And let them know that you'll be there, and you can talk to them anytime they feel comfortable coming to you. you're there to talk to them. Again, I think if we don't avoid the topic, then our kids will know that we have an open door. That's really important. And it's so hard for parents to talk about this.
And we're actually going to come back to that, but we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back and continue this conversation.
Did you know you can watch LMC TV anywhere? Yes, even there. Go to lmctv.org and scroll down the main page. Choose your channel and click Watch Now, then press play. You can watch whatever's live on our channel wherever you are. Want to watch a specific show on demand? Go to Videos, click on Category, or Shows to list by title, or by keyword in the search bar at the top right of the page. It's all a click away at lmctv.org.
So we're back. Let's pivot a little to how we parent and practical parenting issues in a time of anxiety or fear. And an example just comes to mind. You have a teenager who wants to go to a music concert and you don't want to let them. What do you do? What do you say?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's a complicated question because, again, it really depends on your child, right? Some children are extremely responsible at a young age, and some kids are really irresponsible at an older age, right? So we have to know our child and know what we feel comfortable with. We do have a right as parents to set rules in the house, no matter whether they're popular or not popular.
We get to say no.
We get to say no. But also, I think, you know, going back to my other point about really understanding where your child is coming from and trying not to communicate anxiety to them, we need to think about what our child's receiving. So I am a big advocate for watching what they're doing on social media and taking a look at their phone and making sure that they are really safe that way as well, because they're going to get a lot of information that can be inappropriate. They can give out a lot of information that's inappropriate, and usually kids underestimate how dangerous and harmful these things can be.
And at some point we will probably have to talk about how you get access to a teenager's phone and all the secret accounts that they have. But we have a question.
Okay.
This incident was a concert and Sandy Hook was a school. As a parent, how are you supposed to feel about sending your kid back into the world? And how do you deal with it if you are in fact fearful?
Right. So I think, again, it's important how we communicate to our children. If we're nervous and anxious, then we're communicating that to them. And we just need to know that, right? And if we share with them that we're nervous about something all the time, then we instill those feelings in our children. We need to really try our best, even if we're anxious, to be calm. But we need to, you know, set down the rules. If we think something is unsafe or we're uncomfortable with it, that's okay. It's not a terrible thing to be a little strict with those sorts of things with our children.
Is this a time to be strict about that?
You know, again, it depends on the circumstance. You know, we can't shield ourselves from the world. You know, there are families, unfortunately, in other parts of this world, like Israel, that are used to dealing with this sort of thing all the time. And unfortunately, our country is moving in that direction where there are a lot more shootings and unpredictable massacres and horrible things happening in this world. And we have to learn how to live in it. Unfortunately, this has become the new normal for us.
Do you advocate teaching your kid, for lack of a better term, survival skills? Looking for exits, having an escape plan, having some emergency planning of where we meet if there's a problem? Or does that make them more fearful?
Well, I think those basic things are important to know, just to make a family plan. What would happen if there was a fire in the house? I mean, I have met families in my center who had a family plan, and they were all the family members were able to get out of the house in time because everybody knew what to do. They knew which room to go to, where to get the ladder to put out the window, and how to get downstairs. So I think it's important to review these things with your kid. There's no question. It's really important to talk to them about that. But then we let it go, and we have to go about our lives.
Okay. But we should talk to our kids and meet them at the level that they're at.
Yes.
And that's your underlying message,
yes.
If I understood. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us. Up next, we have a sneak peek of our coverage of New York Comic Con. And of course, stay tuned for more community stories. Do you know?
Have you been looking for a way way to get your YouTube project off the ground? Well, look no further. Down here at LMC TV, we have the tools to bring your ideas to life. With the magic of green screen, you can go anywhere. If you're into current events, politics, or entertainment, sounds like you create your own news channel. And this is the perfect spot for you. We have access to numerous pre-made news sets with customizable options. So come share what you think is important to your audience. Or if you want to talk about things that you love, like video games, then this is your GameStop. Give your personal review, share your tricks and cheats, or boast your achievements. Whatever you want to share with your fellow gamers. Hungry for more? Come teach us how to create some tasty treats, share kitchen hacks, or easy meals. Be your own Chef Boyar YouTube. Into creating but not cooking? This is your DIY destination. Tell the world how you create fun things from scratch. Come on down and start recording. The sky's the limit down here at LMC. If you want to make your very own YouTube show, come down Tuesdays or Fridays between 4 and 6. You must reserve your time in advance and bring your own script, JPEGs, and videos on a USB with you. Go to lmctv.org for more information.
This week in sports, the Mamaroneck field hockey team faced rivals Scarsdale for the first time since losing to the Raiders in last year's sectional championship. Some familiar faces gave the Tigers in the lead, but it was freshman goalie Sam Maresca who put the finishing touches on the LMC Varsity Sports Play of the Week.
Into the center, falling on it was Maresca, play still live somehow. Another shot saved by Maresca. And the Tigers clear. How about that sequence from the freshman goalie?
Local Live reporter Xavier Campo takes you to last weekend's Westchester Tattoo Convention.
Co-owner of White Plains Tattoo Shop, Addicted to Ink, and one of the organizers of the event, Lou DeMonaco, tells us why this event is becoming more popular every year.
You know, a tattoo convention's not just about coming and getting tattooed. Part of the experience, of course, is getting tattooed or meeting artists and seeing styles from different corners of the globe, cultures you might not be familiar with. But I'd say there's about 180 different tattoo artists here today. They come from 4 different continents, about 20 countries that we've counted thus far.
Even award-winning artists from Taiwan came to show off their talent. Has tattooing become extremely popular in Taiwan and in the rest of Asia?
Yes, it's become more and more popular now, especially for the younger people. So because he has won several international prizes before.
And if somebody wanted to get this type of tattoo, where would they have to go?
You have to go to Taiwan.
Besides Asian style tattoos, there are other styles like black and gray, portraiture, tribal, and the newest, 3D.
It's 3D tattooing, but it's not traditional 3D. I like to call it interchanging imagery tattooing, where if you wear a pair of 3D glasses, which I give you for free with your tattoo, as you're looking at the tattoo, you alternate blinking your eyes from left to right, and you'll actually see either one image moving or 2 completely different images, one at a time.
Even Hollywood made an appearance with stars from the 1979 cult classic movie, The Warriors. Any tattoos that really stood out?
Yeah, there were a number of ones that really stood out. I mean, the artists here are amazing.
You know, I don't have tattoos, but I will say I saw a lot of women here getting tattoos across all of their body, and it was quite a view.
And like all art, tattoos are all about self-expression. Just ask Karen Leonardo. What kind of tattoo are you getting today?
A chameleon.
And does that have a special significance?
Yeah, because I'm like a chameleon, always changing my appearance, always adapting to all places I go.
Whether you're a fan of tattoos, body piercing, or trying something new, this convention has something for everyone. And it goes to show you that Body art can be worn by anyone. Xavier Campo for The Local Live, signing off.
We're seeing more and more plastic bags in our streets, in our parks, and swimming in our waterways every day. So, the town of Mamaroneck is kicking off the Reusable Bag Initiative, and we need you to pitch in and help to keep our environment clean and healthy. Each year, 300 billion plastic bags are used in the US, and 23 billion of those are used by New York residents alone. Plastic bags release highly toxic chemicals that contaminate soil and water. This can cause disease, injury, and oftentimes death to many plants and animals that come in contact with them. To save our beautiful community from the effects of plastic bag pollution, we have to change our shopping habits. When your family takes their next trip to the grocery store, remember your reusable bags. Don't have any? Our local stores offer stylish options with most under $1 each. If you have any unneeded plastic bags around the house, be sure to reuse them or see that they're properly disposed of. Never throw your plastic bags in the trash or onto the street. Always look for a recycling bin. It's time for plastic bags to be struck out. Let's score big this year by supporting our Reusable Bag Initiative.
Shade is a beautiful 5-year-old lucky black cat. Despite her name, she loves the sun and just wants to lay down and relax. She can be adopted solo or with her brother Leo. And for all those interested, be sure to adopt her way before or after the Halloween season. Alice is a 3-year-old 70-pound Ridgeback Shepherd mix. She is loving and sweet, but also very strong. She needs continued training. She would only be considered for a home with large dog experience and no children. Any dog companion for her needs to match her agility and stamina. To adopt Shade or Alice, go to view or to view other pets online, go to ny-petrescue.org. We always welcome new volunteers and interns, and we love hearing from our viewers. Send us an email to thelocallive@lmctv.org. Thank you so much for watching our show. That's all for tonight. I'm Ral Kathwari. See you next week for another episode of The Local Live.